welcome to Hitchhiking Stars. I am Fernanda Paiva, and today is Transits Fridays. Hey, I managed to say it right. So Transits Fridays is when we talk about what's going on in the sky from Friday to next Friday, and how can we use this transit to our favor? How can we use it in a constructive way? Because this is constructive astrology. So that's the purpose of this channel. So let's have a look at the chart. Let's have a look at what's been going on. And honestly, this week is full moon week. So we're definitely going to be talking about full moon quite a lot. What to do with this full moon energy is a powerful one. Is going to be on the 1st of August. And August will be blue moon month. So we're going to have 2 full moons in August. So it's meant to be an intense month and potentially very insightful month. That's how I'm seeing August. We can have some insights, have some reflections as well about where we're headed, what's going on, etc. So again, as usual, tell me in the comments what's been going on. How did you feel this week has gone by? You know, we have the crescent moon this last week. So what happened there for you? How did you manage these energies? Did you see anything different? I definitely noticed a big difference in my life now this week. And I really feel that the Mars-Saturn oppositions have waned and things started to move in a very interesting direction. So we sort of left a more stagnant energy towards growth again. That's how it feels to me. So a very very interesting energy this week, and somehow productive. And again, I think is tapping a little bit into that Mars Jupiter trine. But let's have a look at this week then. And there are a couple of things I want to say about this week other than the full moon as well. And one of them is Mercury. So if we move, so this is for today, the 28th of July. So if we move a day, here we have Mercury is ingressing into Virgo. So Mercury is moving from Leo to Virgo between today, Friday, the 28th of July, and tomorrow. And it's its own sign, right? So Mercury is very powerful in Virgo. I mean, I have a Mercury in Virgo, so I love that transit because it really resonates with my nature as well. And my ability to analyze information and analyze code and share information is very much thanks to my Mercury in Virgo in the 10th house. So Mercury shifting into Virgo now, we collectively have the potential to experience this energy as well a little bit, organize our thoughts, have a little bit more clarity about what direction we want to take as well, and how to communicate as well this direction. And our thoughts kind of take into this direction of being of service a little bit more. I think it's like when we have these planets moving into the next sign a little bit before the sun, we have the sort of kicking start of the next season. It's like a little flavor of Virgo season, but not just yet, because we still have that sun in Leo. Excuse me. So Mercury moving into Virgo, and Mercury will be an extra time in Virgo because he will go retrograde in Virgo later on in August. So we'll be revisiting some of the things that we'll be getting in touch now as Mercury moves into Virgo. So shout out for that shift. This is the Sunday, and again, pay attention to that Mars trine Jupiter. I did talk about that last week on our last Friday transits Friday, and here it is like coming to orb, is getting closer and closer. So Saturday and Sunday, so this weekend basically has the signature of Mercury moving to Virgo, and also that Mars Jupiter in trine, and actually on Sunday as well, Moon will be in Capricorn. So we kind of have a grand trine in Earth at some point during the day, depending where you are in the world as well. And I think this, although is a fleeting energy because the moon moves so quickly, I think there's something quite positive about this grand trine. We can achieve loads. And I know Sunday is meant to be a fun day for some people. I tend to work on weekends, and a lot of my clients cannot have consultations during the day, during the week, because they're doing their job. So Sunday is fun day, but worky fun day for me. So with the grand trine in Earth, you can accomplish a lot. You can get your actions into motion and, have a little bit more clarity about the achievements you want to have, with that moon in Capricorn as well, your ambitions. Mars trine Jupiter really resonates with constructive action that sort of resonates with growth. That's Jupiter. And acting for service as well could be another one, but acting in alignment with what's the most important thing for us, I think, with that Jupiter in Taurus, which is very value ruled, being in Taurus. I don't know why my voice is breaking. That's weird. Anyhow, Jupiter in Taurus is value related because of the rulership of Venus. So we're still getting in touch with our values very, very powerfully with that Venus retrograde. So again, think about constructive action with this grunt trine and swiftly moving. If we think about trines as removal of obstacles, a grunt trine is a grunt removal of obstacle. So on Sunday, we can pick up a little bit of speed after after the slowdown that Mars opposite Saturn sort of reflected. Okay, so Monday 31st, we're still on that wave, Moon is now trine Uranus as well. So still, I think Saturday, Sunday, Monday have this wave of earthy element of like trines as well between these planets, and sort of moving swiftly a little bit with the material side of our lives and organizing our lives as well, and creating to-do lists and things like that. Excuse me. So that transit is very, very much there. Now here we are. That's the full moon. So 1st of August, right at the beginning of the new month, we have a full moon, and it is a full moon at 9 degrees Aquarius, Sun 9 degrees Leo as well. So find out where is 9 degrees in your chart of the fixed signs, 9 degrees Leo, 9 degrees Aquarius, because if you have anything in those degrees or around these degrees, then this full moon will be very, very personally powerful for you in a very specific way, because whichever part of our charts get activated by the full moon, then that is personally highlighted for us, even though the full moon will be powerful for all of us as a general transit here. All right, so full moon 9 degrees Aquarius. One of the things that comes to mind, because full moons are combinations, is this sense of letting something go, of becoming really aware of something. And I think this full moon in particular has two very powerful exact aspects that we're also going to be talking about. But before we get there, I think one of the key elements of this full moon as well is that the sun is in its own sign. So that sun in Leo is really, really powerful. And we also have that Venus in Leo, which is, again, is pulling us towards that direction, because the traditional ruler of the moon in Aquarius is Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, and then Venus is ruled by that sun. So we're sort of thrown back to Leo. If we follow the rulership of the moon, we're sort of sent towards the Leo side of this full moon. So I think there's an emphasis on that Venus, an emphasis on that sun in Leo, and it's a lot about authenticity, individuality, being your own individual person, having something unique to contribute, versus fitting in and following the cloud, following the crowd mentality, following the group mentality, what everybody's saying, and you sort of just follow that and just use, just somehow align yourself with what's expected from you collectively. So I think there's a very interesting configuration here with this full moon, because even on the Sabian symbol, and if you guys follow the Witches of Instagram, you see that my work there, whenever I'm giving a little bit of a voice note there about the lunations, I'm always talking about the Sabian symbols, and I really like them. I don't know why, I just love these imageries, and to use the imageries with each degree of the zodiac. So 9 degrees Aquarius really discuss this sort of archetype versus human. This idea of like, we're not archetypes, we're not ideals, we're actual real people with real emotions and real splits and complex, dualities. And so we're not like all of the morals and ideals that Aquarius represent will be under the spotlight during this full moon. What we are ready to let go of. And I don't mean not taking social responsibility or anything like that, which is the best of Aquarius. But because the full moon is in Aquarius, it's like letting go of that shadow side of Aquarius as well. And with these Sabian symbols sort of putting more of an emphasis into that, I think that's like a double whammy, saying, let's leave behind anything that's cookie cutter, too collective, doesn't truly resonate with us individually, doesn't truly speak to our highest values. Again, we still have that Venus retrograde. Write down lists of what are your top values, what's important to you. We're having these opportunities to review all of that. And I think during this full moon, we can let go of things that are done by peer pressure, but what other people expect from you, and the sort of mob mentality as well. That's the darkest side of Aquarius. So the best that we can think of, the balance between Aquarius and Leo, is being your authentic individual and having a unique contribution for the collective. That's the moon in Aquarius. So you can be the best you can be as an individual in your own single, special, unique journey. And that will give a contribution that will be healthy, empowering, positive to the group. So it's not about denying who you are and your sense of specialness, that you're going to do something for the group. I think that's one of the main messages here with this full moon. This full moon is also square to Jupiter. So Jupiter definitely has something to say and a bit of an influence there, even though it isn't exact, the square between, these three planets. But again, like I said, Jupiter is ruled by Venus. And it is talking about our morals that are based on our values. It's like finding out the most important things for us, finding out the most valuable things for us as well. I think that's highlighted in this full moon very powerfully. So let me see, because I did made a little note here as well about the full moon. So getting rid of unachievable ideals, that's the 9th degree of Aquarius. So letting go of unachievable ideals, of things that don't truly resonate with the individual that you are. And you have the right to be here as an individual. You have the right to take up space. Those are some of the things of the Leo side there, valuing humans and the process of individuation. It's another thing, that I wrote in there. Now, in terms of the aspects that this full moon has, because there are a couple of really exact aspects, and if you see the charts and you understand the charts already, you can also see there. Mars trine Jupiter is exact. So 1342, 1345, that's pretty much a partile that we call when an aspect is so close to exact. And the other aspect is Mercury opposite Saturn. So we got Mercury at 5 degrees and Saturn at 5 degrees Pisces. So that's a very exact opposition as well. So those two transits are very, very precise, and they definitely have something to do with the release that we're going to be doing during this full moon. And for me, that Mars trine Jupiter is a wonderful blessing of achievement, for speeding things a little bit up, setting sail a little bit, even though it's an earthy sign, but really getting on that expedition. I don't know, that sounds a bit fiery as well as my Mars and Sagittarius. But that Mars trine Jupiter definitely talks about a sense of exploration, expansion, sustained action for growth, action for learning, constructive action, actions of service, and all of that is still aligned with values as well. So this is kind of under the spotlight. We're going to be able to act. We don't feel so paralyzed anymore as I think it would have been feeling the last couple of weeks when Mars was opposition Saturn. All right, so that's a bit of a blessing aspect that we want to make the most of for these, next few days. Now, the Mercury opposition Saturn might be challenging around unrealistic ideas. So we might get, our dreamy ideas sort of challenged by that Saturn and the Mercury in Virgo. It's like, is it applicable? Is it practical to do? Is it, is it functional in any way? Can we actually create these things? So I think that's some of the topics here that I think about when I see this Saturn opposition Mercury. I also think that the communication might feel a little bit blocked as well. We might feel like we're lost for words, something, that we can't express ourselves so clearly, so readily. So maybe if you can wait a little bit to communicate something, that's probably a good idea. Instead, just write something down, if you need to be eloquent and express yourself. With that Mercury Saturn, there might be some blockages around that. And there might be some tests, there might be some conflicts with authority figures. That's, what Saturn represents as well. It might be like reminiscences of that Mars opposition Saturn from the last couple of weeks as well. So challenging and realistic ideas and finding out what can actually be really possible as well. So this is definitely there with the full moon as well, with the energy of the full moon. So powerful full moon. If you guys can do rituals, if you can find out where that Leo Aquarius is in your chart, that can be really, really helpful with like releasing this sort of blueprint and stepping into your own uniqueness. I think that's the word, that's the key there. Then we've got Wednesday, Mercury will be moving on from that opposition. So I think, it might feel a sense of relief. And again, with the pressure of the full moon, don't feel like you have to speak up. Like, don't worry, hold on to those feelings, like sit with those feelings and, really witness the words that you want to say, even write them down, even if you're not going to send it, because later on it'll be easier for you to communicate. And what I want to mention here as well is Venus coming to square Uranus, which obviously is not happening yet. On Wednesday, the moon will be opposite Venus, so we'll be activating that square with Uranus. And I think this is a longer term transit that we're going to be going through collectively in like revisiting our values, like I said, but also cooperation versus independence. I think that there's a lot of that flavor there. Like, how can I be interdependent rather than codependent? And, things like that. I think with the Venus Uranus, they are like inevitably in the forefront. And then on Thursday, we have sort of echoes of that Mercury opposite Saturn, because the moon will sort of conjoin Saturn as well. So we're going to have a little bit of reminiscence of that, like the communication, the blockages, or the feelings, around the authorities, etc. That will come back to us a little bit. All right. And throughout this whole period, Mars, Jupiter will still be in trine. So we have this whole week to have this sense of sustained actions that will be paying off, actions that bring abundance into our lives, abundance into other people's lives too, sharing our fruits with other people, things like that. So it will be like throughout the whole week, really. And that's it, because that's Thursday. So next Friday, I'll talk about Friday. I am working on a video about Chiron. I know I've been talking about that, and I know I've promised that a while ago, but I am working, believe me. I am working on it. I have read Melanie Reinhardt's. I'm on a part of like aspects between Chiron and the natal planets, so I'm still kind of working on it. But I think I'm ready to do part 1. I think the best thing is to do it in parts, because there's a lot of content and I don't want to do it in 2 hours and get really tired. So I'm still learning how to do this, and I'm still experimenting and finding my voice here. So if you're interested in Chiron, stay tuned. I'm hoping I can get it out by this coming week. So either Monday or Wednesday this week. And let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what you'd like to see me talking about as well. And if any of these content resonates with you, like what do you feel resonates the most as well? I would love to hear from you. And I think that's it. So I'll be seeing you all next week. Have a wonderful full moon, wonderful weekend, very empowering and constructive. And I'll be seeing you all next week. Bye bye now.